The White Sox had another terrible season, but did improve to only losing 102 games, and weren't the worst team in baseball, and also have some exciting young talent. For the starting pitching, Shane Smith had a solid rookie campaign, solidifying himself as the White Sox number one, and had one of the best fastballs in the league last season. For the next three starters, we'll stay within the organization with Davis Martin, Sean Burke, and Yoendris Gomez, who are all pretty mid. And for the last starting pitching spot, we'll sign Tomoyoki Sugano, who will be going into his second season at 36. He barely strikes anyone out and has pretty much has no stuff, but doesn't walk a lot of guys. And the White Sox just need pitchers to fill the rotation at this point. While this is going to be one of the worst starting pitching staffs in baseball, there's optimism for the future because Kai Bush and Drew Thorpe underwent Tommy John surgery before last season, and will likely return at some point. They also have number 40 prospect Noah Schultz, who will probably be up at some point, even though I'm not that high on him. And he had a pretty rough season in the minors last year. And recent top draft pick Hagen Smith, who hasn't played in AAA yet, but could definitely come up at some point. Moving on to the bullpen, the White Sox have the closer role taken care of with Grant Taylor unless they decide to try and move him to a starter. Taylor had a near 5 ERA last season, but it's very misleading. I expect his ERA to go down by at least 2 next year, and I'm very high on him, and think he'll be a dominant closer next season. Jordan Leisure and Mike Vassell had good seasons last year and will be the two high-leverage guys. The next two spots will go to a pair of 23-year-olds, Wickelman Gonzalez and number 17 prospect, Haro Iriarte. Three bullpen spots will go to Tyler Gilbert and Steven Wilson, both 31, who pitched around 50 innings out of the pen last year. And the last spot will go to Fraser Allard. Moving on to the lineup, the White Sox have two young former top prospect catchers that they acquired in trades who played well in 2025, in Edgar Quiero and Kyle Teel. Teel will be the main catcher and Quiero will be the backup and the primary designated hitter because his defense is awful. The infield is pretty much set in stone with Lenyon Sosa at first, Chase Madroth at second, Colson Montgomery at short, and Miguel Vargas at third. Montgomery was called up towards the middle of last season, playing 71 games, and was a former top prospect, but he had a rough 2024 and 2025 in the minors, but was the White Sox best player by far in the second half of the season. Sosa and Vargas were pretty good offensively, being league average in OPS, and Madroth getting on base more than the rest of the infield, but with a significantly lower OPS. Moving on to the outfield and left field is Andrew Benintendi, who had a pretty solid year last year. And for center, I have Luis Robert getting his club option accepted, and the team keeping him moving forward for at least for now. His hitting has significantly declined the last two seasons, but even if he can't get back to the 2023 offensive self, he's still really good defensively and a huge threat on the base pass. He also has another club option next year, and they can trade him if he continues to struggle. To play right field, we will sign utility man Adam Frazier, who quietly had a pretty good second half of the season with the Royals. I have the White Sox training Mike Tauchman to the Diamondbacks, who could use some outfield help, and in return they get two relievers, Kyle Backus and 27 prospect Hunter Cranton. Moving on to the bench, we have Corey Lee as the backup slash third string catcher, Curtis Mead in the infield, Brooks Baldwin, who can play infield and outfielder Dominic Fletcher. The White Sox are most likely in for another rough year, but definitely have some young talent to be excited about.